All right. So, in the world, a brand new year. And with it, carolers and talks of saints and divinity, inspiring speeches on the radio every day about how Arvail's armies will prevail. And it seems somewhat natural that people would turn more to faith in this time. War very quickly approaching, loved ones gone on trains. Every day someone's waving goodbye to someone on the train platforms, watching them leave across the fields of Arvale, perhaps to never come home. As the carolers pass through, you find yourselves each thinking about faith. And perhaps for the first time in many of your lives, you might have prayed. Something about the music in the air. And whether you got down on knees, simply laid there and stared up at the stars, you found growing inside of you that own little seed of faith. Heidi already dedicated amongst the groups. What have each of you picked again? Starting with you, Hanu.
Oh. She put it.
The Hermit. So.
Oh yes, that's right, the Hermit. And then Nina, you don't see much stock in the gods. The way of the iconoclast is the only way for you, it would seem. And Zale, well, the chariot has kept you safe so far, and now it's literally given you the ability to fly to heights never reached before. A natural choice. Ember, as a druid, he didn't need to look up at the stars. No. You've already seen it around you in the earth and the soil, and in the ash and the flame. Looking into the fireplace, warming this abode at Rosemarie's, you remembered your own faith, that to Gashara and the world. Zale, Hanu, you think back to the day prior, when late at night you had been brought by Arthur to wind through the streets in a skulking, paranoid fashion, as if you thought someone might be following you. And we led you at last to the home of Frederick Vilroksharn. Dirge's, or Willow's Dirge, rather, the foreboding manor and months, feeling even more foreboding this evening, as you're taken not through its rickety front gate, but through a secret underground passage, right into the catacombs, where, by the dim, flickering light of a single torch, you had a tense conversation. As Frederick had opened it, pacing back and forth, rubbing his thumb into the middle of his hands, nervous. But no, not as always. Something was more intense about him this night. I believe that your friend, Rue and Lib, that they, like I, may have come from the Zero dimension. His eyes level with you. but it has been rid from my mind. He looks nervously as the shadows flicker to the side. Arthur takes a step back into the shadows as if to bequeath the conversation to you.
Handa's mouth is slightly agape and she just closes it and nods, stroking her chin. Okay. So,
Zell's arms is kind of crossed, kind of like thinking.
um,
Hmm.
I mean, Libby's able to remember everything when she comes back. I guess so does Rue. But I'm certain maybe if you're lost and wandering in the Zero Dimension and you aren't native there, you just lose your mind in the process of finding your way back. Maybe? I don't know.
Or maybe he did find his way back. Somewhat sane of mind, and someone got to him first. And someone deliberately. I mean, we have the reason.
Dr. Freya. Her name was Dr. Freya.
Oh.
I mentioned her when we first met.
Hmm.
Yes.
Steph, you were with her.
You were quite nervous about that.
She is always watching. She has people that tailor me constantly. I am not paranoid about this. I have brought it up to the Arcanum, but they say that it is from being too isolated in my research. But I quickly decided it was not further. Dr. Freya was my doctor before Constantine. She oversaw my initial recovery.
Hmm. Hearing with
I
the...
believe that in the place of Drakiesna, I somehow came across another dimension. And that it left my memory momentarily hard to sort. Yes, I admit, but I do not believe that she was there to make me better. I had to sneak out and get a letter to my family to have them pay to bring another doctor in, Dr. Constantine, and he was able to have me signed into his care. But she has not left me out of her sight. I know this. She knows something about the Zero Dimension.
Interesting.
I remember a moment. I won't say the word, but when this word was spoken, you seemed to have a adverse effect on you.
Yes, I believe. Hell, I believe that she may have modified my memory, spells, you see. Certain enchantments that can modify and rewrite one. And there's no way of being able to determine if it was cast at a particularly high aptitude. It's been part of my research, but I have not proven to be of sufficient skill to identify, and I do not trust the diagnosis of other doctors.
Intuition is usually
Constantine was the first one to back up my belief in this, which is why I began to trust him.
I believe you too, Frederick.
Yeah.
There's definitely a logical signs of what you're speaking.
Dr. Freya is a hard to get a hold of figure. They are well protected, but not hard to find. I believe that they are in either Dalewood or in their original post as a doctor in the Hexenhold prison. Have you heard of it?
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, just recently now, actually. It's come to our attention, radar, so to speak. Which makes
Do you believe it might have something to do with the other things that your party has associated with fate and time and yes?
I believe so.
On paper, it's a coincidence. Off the record, yes. Yes, it is.
There are no such things as coincidences.
Oh, yeah, that's why it's on paper, because you can throw it away at any moment. Yeah,
So I would assume probably what to come along with us then and go there. To find this Dr. Freya.
Yes, if you are to go, then I must go. If you would allow me, that is.
No, that is most agreeable.
Yes, I agree, but this is my paranoia shining through. I want to make sure she didn't do anything else, that once you see her, she has a control over you. So can you say something, and can I just watch to see if his eyes do anything specific?
In this regard, I have thought about your friend Zarmin's predicament, yes. With the Gaius, I had an idea, since it turns out that this Predwin fellow is an ally. I thought perhaps we could, as an insurance policy, have him Gaius me.
I guess so. Yeah. Override. Okay.
You would be putting yourself at risk.
I would much rather die than live with something that I would regret forever.
Okay, I don't want any harm to come to you because of some demented doctor, though. So this isn't just us being paranoid about our safety, but what had happened to you and how... I just don't like when people get walked over, especially if they're in a position of power and they use it to manipulate and gain their way to the top, because they... whatever. Okay, I'm getting myself...
We are of mind here. Anu, I trust that if things went another way, that your group would be able to do what is best.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing this to our attention. in which I will be bringing this to your attention. I do plan on scrying inside that prison further. I'm gonna need to mentally prepare myself for it, but if you can give any description
You
if I
should,
see her.
if I may, if you are planning to, perhaps you should, do it here. I have, not here in the crypt, no.
Okay.
God, no. The study has got wards, so that if, someone is equipped with magic items that would allow them to scry on the scryer, you see.
Yeah.
They are
That's...
rare, but they are there.
I was about to ask you if you had something like that.
Yeah.
I do not have such an item myself. I've tried to procure one, but they are hard to find, illegal, and only on very obscure black markets.
Well, wait a
But
second.
my room is warded against such threats, so
Okay. Here you go. And she will actually produce the picture of the changeling guard to him. I didn't see his actual face because my scrying orb sees through illusions, but I'm curious as to see what this uniform means.
that is, I have heard or seen that that is the uniform of the Vexelberg Cohort, the changeling force.
Yes.
They are new. I am unfamiliar with them, but I do know that this is a result of Dr. Freya. She was fascinated with the changeling physiology. Thought that in it you could discover cures and immortality for all kindred.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that type of research. Okay.
Yes.
Yes,
Sounds like we need.
her methods are extreme.
Here's the
What
thing.
do you consider unethical?
He descended down. It wasn't a spell. I'm quite certain that place was warded against magic to a certain degree, but he just floated down and snapped it out.
Yes, the element does not care much for magic.
Yeah.
In general, they think of all magic users as witches. They are very old-fashioned and fearful.
Yeah.
Magic is rare in Yalom,
Okay.
but in its absence, they have turned to occult methods of power, expanding the mind.
Of course. She's just staring off to the distance and shrugging like, yeah, I guess that's the less logical step. Okay. Yeah.
So a new element, different than magic. That's gonna be something to think about.
It's gonna take me some time to prepare myself, but I do know at least I'm gonna need to make a contact with somebody who we were initially scrying on, and then jump to somebody else who, in another timeline, we are allies with them. But I need to zone in because we don't have much time to do this, and it needs to be precise, and I need to figure out who to follow. But if we do come across the potential of her office, do you want us to peek in, or what exactly do you want to do in this place?
Information is always useful,
Okay.
but I would merely, if there is some way of knowing what it is that she did to my memories, then, and why, then that is what I want. No, not vengeance, knowledge.
Hmm.
So I'm just saying, if we go into her office and we steal things, that's what I was thinking of,
Yeah,
honestly.
sounds like we have to break into your office to
Yeah,
get
that's
information.
honestly that's. So if you feel comfortable, would you mind giving me a description so if I at least see her, I know what her habit is?
She is, human, in her late 40s, gray hair, light, like, she is, has a deceptively happy smile.
Hmm.
Everything about her is, nice, warm. Even in the cold, she is warm.
Hmm.
I remember walking out of Drakesna and thinking, is this the sun?
Hmm.
She comes across as motherly, but she is more like the wicked stepmother from the fairy tales. Yes?
I see.
Hmm.
She's making a rough sketch, at least, as he's doing that.
Um,
Can I try?
he would describe someone that's sort of in their late 40s, somewhat uh, like like just wrinkles that are the wrinkles of someone that smiled a lot through their life, right? And she still looks, kind of young, so she doesn't look terribly old, right? But I mean, she only looks like she's in her mid to late 40s,
Mhm.
and is kind of tall, close to about 6 foot 1 or 2, right? Rather tall for a woman. And he describes that she dressed like a Yelamite, but in white, and whereas most people in the Yalom are very drab and dark, like even amongst like the rest of the rescue crew that found him walking,
Mhm.
she was the only one dressed in white.
Alright, a woman in white. Should I do a roll just to see what likeliness I can get out of it?
Yeah, go ahead and insight.
Alright. Alright, I will guidance this throughout the time, scritching her nose and her bird. So 23 as I
I am.
consult my
You got a,
bird.
you got a really good. He says that. Yes, that is her. Exactly her.
Okay. I will keep my eyes out and ear to the ground. Then Hanuomaka kind of snuggles back into her folds as he agrees that yes, this does look like likeliness. Okay.
And he would ask that you keep him updated, and that if uh, now that he's brought you in on this, if you guys go on an adventure elsewhere, he would like to be with you because he suspects that uh, despite the precautions, Freya will know that uh, he mentioned her to you.
Yeah. Alright. Good. As I said before, sometimes paranoia and is just intuition, and intuition is the best doctor. So, let's go.
All right. So,
Wait a second. As relieving, she just pops up and turns around. This happens in prison. Tirana had a lapse in memory, too. This might be a running theme. In prisons.
Might be the same individual.
Maybe she can teleport or something else, I don't know.
No, that's what Frederick was saying. This person has a lot of influence, a lot of powerful friends. I wouldn't put it past it. Her powerful friends kind of ferry her around everywhere, because if you think about it, why would she be in Dragvesna? The place, it's a disaster zone.
Yeah, of course. Okay.
You don't get there just walking aimlessly. I don't know. I think a lot of things are disconnected. And I think we're gonna find a lot of information when we get to Hexen.
Yeah.
Fate seems to be converging at that point.
yeah, I hate that word. Convergence is almost as bad as the word destiny. It's just a nerdy version of saying the same thing. Alright. Well, can we please get out of this crypt now?
Yeah, I mean...
Yeah. Stuff to do.
And as you step back out, you now are waking up that next day after the Carolus come through, and you think about faith, and you've thought about that conversation with Frederick, and you can hear the city bustling to life outside. You've got a few sparse days and weeks as Zarman is going to be doing a PR circuit with Prince to explore the city and get a few of your affairs in order before you set out on this hunt for the most powerful artifacts in the world. All right. So, in the first week, other than carolers in the streets and people praying a little bit more, and the radio talking a bit more about the, pride of Alvail's army, things kind of settle down to being a little bit quiet. In fact, a lot of people have been waving goodbye to loved ones on the train. You can somewhat feel it in the crisp winter air. Now, a few things pop out. You hear some news coming from Prince and a few other of the more courtly-like people in your entourage, that in Mont des Jardins, in the Garden District, a noblewoman there is having strange experiences in her estate and is seeking experts in the occult, divination, and investigation. And we'll post this one into exploration. Okay. In Montcommerce, you find out that there are deals, evidently. All abjuration-related magic items and spell scrolls are now 15% off. Evidently, the Arcanum worked out some sort of deal with all of the merchant and artisan guilds, and as a result, every abjuration-related magic item and spell scroll is 15% off until further notice. As well, though, there's no access to healing potions of any kind.
Mm.
And if you want to find them, it is an exploration pillar that you can repeat to find them, which is a cakewalk. But they're very limited in supply. And lastly, the only other thing that really ends up popping in is you find out from Fee that Hearthvine Hospital has opened its doors to all of the homeless people from the Canal District to sort of tend to their ailments and health needs that they're not getting. And it's made it busier than ever. This is brought up because she had been going to visit to bring lunch to Tarana and Tysath, who are Pridwin's bedside there. And she tells you that someone may have overheard a one-sided conversation between the tongueless elf and Vashti, two members of Brave Albion. They're not sure what they might have overheard, and the only people in this wing, however, are those with long-term needs. And so no one is due to check out for at least 2 weeks, meaning that whoever overheard it is still there. And Pridwin and Tirana would like someone to find the eavesdropper and discover what it is that they overheard, if anything. And that is a muffin strap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's all week 1 pops out.
Oh.
We should let
Go
the
at the-
himbo loose in the hospital. I think that would be fun.
Well, Hanu was planning to go there, so if Nina wants to come along, and anybody else wants to come along, yeah, let's fucking go.
So which one we're gonna do first? Because Vegas was the big one, right?
Yeah, Bagel Sprints is all 3 chicks.
So
I need to see if I actually have any abjuration scrolls. I mean, spells.
And the question is, are you wanting to do this during the week? Or were you wanting to use the week for some downtime related thing and do it on the weekend?
We can do this on the weekend.
I'm fine doing this during the week.
Okay.
So
Tell
where we
that.
going on there? There are 2 opposite things there.
Yeah.
Well, the only thing is she's planning on just scrawling on some of the other stuff. So her week is honestly open. It's just, yeah, tell her whenever, and she'll be like,
I mean,
I'll help you guys out.
you want to just tackle this down with the week?
Nina would love just a tour of the city. Nina is fascinated by this city.
Sure, yeah, we can do it the first few days, and then first like 2 days or so. She does want to jump into Suntown, number 1, to see if there's anything that we can do in Suntown. But also she wants to get she wants to get astral projection tea. All right, it's the main thing. She wants to go there. So yeah, we can do the downtime during the week.
Okay. So then, next question then is, which one first?
Hey,
Easy
Amber.
evenings
Hey,
or something whispered display comes?
Amber, you want to go to hospital with us?
Why not?
We need your
Alright.
strong eyes.
What is this
What?
hospital?
Oh, it's a great place. Just no rambunctious things. We have sick people there.
That
Yeah.
does not sound like a very great place then.
Oh,
Well,
yeah, you're not really selling it right now. Poor
No, I'm not.
businessman. Yeah. Okay, so what?
yeah.
Okay.
Is there drinking?
No.
Wait a second.
well-
Sometimes they just don't want you to hear about that.
Secret, I guess.
Yeah.
What kind of people go there to make it so good?
Well, you were traveling with
Stop.
the Goliath tribes, correct? For a while.
I mean, I would occasionally follow them around, and then
Okay.
they would tell me to leave them alone.
Okay. Well, sometimes you'd see like older individuals that they can't, like. Actually, I am curious. If somebody is injured or sick, what did the tribes do? Did they stop and wait, or did they just like, oh, you're on the road, you'll come visit us when you're better?
Would Nina have ever seen that chance?
Just like how they care for
I'm
their
sorry.
infirm and their elderly, basically.
Yeah.
How do the
What do
Goliaths-
Goliath tribes do with the elderly, or can I just come up with bullshit?
I guess, come up with something.
Okay.
It would be different for different tribes, anyways. They're all very isolated.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. I definitely did see at least one old man get left in the snow. I often would suggest, just like chuck him off a cliff or something, do something fun, but they did not like this usually.
I could see that. Now, did this old man have like a lot of scars and he looked like an old warrior and he's like, no, I can stay here by myself? Or they're like, no, old man, you can't hang with us.
I think it was Owlbear that got to him, and he was
Oh.
just not doing well after the Owlbear attack, and so they just left him because he was inconvenient, which I understand.
So, now, imagine that, but instead of leaving him in the middle of the mountains, he left them at a building where people would look after him, so he got stronger, and then he can rejoin the tribe later. And then
Well,
he
that
can
does
start
not sound
chucking...
like a fun place to be.
But then he's strong enough to start chucking people off cliffs, so then it gets fun, because he's strong enough to do that.
Oh, so it's a place where people get strong and
Yeah.
can throw people off cliffs. I will go to this place. I like
There
this
you
place.
go! Yeah, let's go.
Hanu,
If
How?
if they want to be thrown off cliffs, consent is a very important thing, especially amongst tribe members, okay?
No, just
Oh, you're supposed to ask before you do this?
Yes, it's... I mean,
yes,
Oh.
yes,
yeah.
very
I will
important.
keep this in the mind.
Yeah.
Oh,
I appreciate it.
Hanu, you are on Nina duty while we get there.
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you feel like you
Oh.
want to throw at anybody, just give me a big hug, and I'm fine with that. Yeah.
Can I throw you? Or just
Outside! You can throw me outside, but not inside.
okay.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
got
Alright, I'm here.
good graces with the hospital. Let's not make another scene.
It's happening outside, okay?
Alright, let's go.
Okay.
Nina is gonna be such a liability for you guys. I'm sorry.
Nope. So
I can't
we're
wait for her
stopping the
to be like, I accidentally fell over and scabbed my knee. Please, Nina, help me out instead of causing a ruckus.
Okay, go ahead. It's another crisp January, or rather Lilaros, and there's a light layer of frost still on the ground, but no actual snow. You can see a blank, crisp gray sky overhead, and as your breath forms in front of you, walking up the steep stone steps and the windy hillock that leads to the top of Mont Noblesse, where the biggest structure that can be seen for miles is standing squat, surrounded by rose bushes that, even at this time of year, are still blooming with roses. However, they've turned to a rather white petaled complexion instead of the red roses you had seen when you had first come here. You walk up the familiar wide marble steps through the open doorways, and inside of the hospital, there are more people in there than you've ever seen in the hospital before. It's more akin to stepping onto the train platform during the busiest time of day. And a lot of people just coughing, sick with common colds and other untreated ailments, such as probably just sleeping without a good bed for too long. And you can tell that most of these people are not usually in this side of town. And as you make your way through the private wards towards the nested beds, the ones that are built like groves, gardens that are all grown around a central pod where in a cocoon of plants the sick lay and are nourished under the healing light of natural, but not quite natural, overgrowth. You find Pridwin laying in one such bed. The effect of this flower petals over him, casting a orange glow on the usually pallid figure, letting you see more of the ginger in his hair that finally makes him actually look a little bit more like Arthur than he normally does. And despite laying there with his eyes closed, you nevertheless hear in your mind, "Oh, good. I was hoping that you would come quickly. I thought maybe with your new popularity, I might be further down your list. I'm honored. After all, it's just brave Albion's potential secrets on the tongue of a drunkard. Be quick." And Tirana stands up, having not even heard this conversation. This is just in your mind. Hanu, she would have just walked right past you while he was talking to you towards Zale and the others and walking you guys out of the room. And Hanu would have only lingered for probably a moment, unless you've got something to say to him before you leave with the others.
She'll just nod. Understood. And stop for a moment, just see how everybody else is, how Tirana and she's gonna do a wellness check on Tirana Tyseth and their interaction with Pridwin. Any awkwardness between them, or do these just seem to be very stoic family reunion?
No. Yeah, I mean, you can see that there are more books that have found themselves around the couch that has become Tyseth's bed. And so he seems to have made himself comfortable. He's asleep at this time. And Tirana is, her usual stoic self. I mean, you've only caught her for a moment. She walked right past you to lead everybody out. And as you step out as well, she'd nod to you and say, "I am certain that it was probably nothing. However, it would be nice to put my father's mind at ease. And my ears."
What does Pridwin look like right now? Like,
Pridwin was just laying there like asleep. He might have been dead for all you know, and he didn't react at all. So, Tirana,
there's no
essentially,
he's missing his tongue. He just looks like some really sick elf, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, to you,
yeah, just unconscious.
An old elf. Everybody else, we're like, we know what fucking happened in that mess.
And Nina would, in the middle of Tirana talking, turn to Hanu. "This is man that we will eventually throw off cliff, or will he throw me off cliff?"
I think it's the other way, so please watch your mouth, watch your toes, and just keep things really, really subtle, quiet, like you're on the hunt for something. You don't want to, say, "Hey, I'm hunting this owlbear so I can wrestle it." You want to do a surprise attack on it, see? But do not do that. No, do not do that. Actually, forget everything that I said. Quiet.
Already done.
Okay.
Sal's shaking his head at me, just listening.
Okay, this is not a hunt, but actually, why don't you go help me out with some patience? And then she'll turn to Toronto and be like, I will make sure I handle this. Here's some tea, to get, it's the regular tea that I set up. If you need a teapot, you can borrow mine. But it should help with focusing and good dreams, especially since you guys are really, okay, anyways. She just nudges Nina. It's like, okay, let's go this way.
Okay. I just need an investigation check.
Alright, so, I am very proud of all of you.
Gotcha.
I need you guys to work very hard, and she pats, especially Zale on the head. She'll cast this at third level, so she can get, no, fourth level, so she can get 3 people. She'll cast Enhance Ability on Zale. She'll cast it on
Alright.
Ember, and then she'll be like, really thinking if she should cast it on her or Nina, but she'll be like, you're gonna help me with some patience, okay? And she'll cast it on herself, but like, I do need some hands. My arms are like kelp, very wimpy. I need somebody strong to help me out with this. So
Strong is the one thing that I very much
there
am.
you go. So she will just do some small talk with patients as she's actively trying to heal them, but she'll do like more of a subtle investigation check, but she's hoping that Ember and Zale can definitely go into the nitty-gritty shit.
Alright. Investigation with advantage. Oh, that's all low. 19.
Okay.
Boy.
So, you managed to get one of the nurses there to give you a log from when different nurses there went through, thinking that perhaps maybe it might have been a nurse and not a patient. And that wasn't really it, but it did reveal to you that in the nurses' logs, that one of the patients has a habit of wandering into other people's bathrooms, and you found that person and you question them, and you find that this woman, Eve is her name. She's very old, late 70s or 80s. It's hard to tell. She doesn't look, I mean, everybody that's here at the moment, other than Pridwin, is mostly being let in for free and have been living on the streets, and you can tell. And Eve is that she's wandered in there, but she heard nothing because all she could hear is the sound of running water, right? Because their sink was still dripping water, right? And she can always hear when there's running water. She can always hear. And I'm in check just to determine whether or not she's lying or not, and what the nature of this disease might be.
Ember.
Yep.
Cast guidance.
Oh no! Okay,
Oh,
yeah.
no, you need it.
No, that'll do it. All right, yeah. You actually discover this is actually a parasite that comes from rotten fish that's just left in the waters. People probably dumped their old fish out, into the canal district, and this, got her sick from drinking it. And the parasite has a tendency to dehydrate the person and drive them to find and seek water. The parasite can sense water from miles away, though. So you know that this is something that in Urat they actually use to help them find oases if they're desperate. and that there is a cure that you can make to be able to help with. It's a particular type of tea that you have to drink, and it is terrible tasting, but it'll kill the parasite, and it'll take about a week before it's finally dead, but it'll die if they just continue drinking it every day for a week. And he mentioned it to one of these doctors, and to one of these nurses, and they bring it up to one of the doctors, wondering about whether or not this is something that could be real or not, or if this is just some hokum. And they go, oh yes, actually that's in this particular book about Eastern medicines, and they say that they'll be able to get some deliveries out from the city to be able to make that for them in no time, and that you might have saved their life. And as a result, give me a second. We'll get back to that. You go home feeling really good about yourself, though.
Hell yeah!
Yes.
Give like a nice high five to Ember. Hell yeah! Investigation duo. High five.
What?
High five? You know what a high five is? Yeah, he
I
takes your
smoke.
he takes your hand, puts it up, and it's a high five. No, high five.
That seems odd and unnecessary.
Yeah, but it's fun.
Right.
Ah, you're party pooper. Let's get to this.
All right, where to next?
Okay.
Doing this in the wing. Guess I want to kind of hit up something whispered this way comes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a Honu thing.
Wait, what?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you're going to the home of one Sophia de Colina. I will type it out.
You actually have a nice repair. We have Ember and Honey and Zell going for occult divination and investigation. And Nina's there for muscle if we need it.
Right? To be babysat.
Yeah. But if something goes wrong, we get attacked by some kind of monster. At least we have you there.
It's time to get angry.
Exactly.
Okay.
Anna would have totally been just chatting up everybody in the hospital. She's helping heal them, and be like, hey, this is 100% less throwing that I thought was involved. Wow.
So they are not just leaving you out in the fields. They are taking you in, and they are making sure that you do not die.
No.
This is very ineffective.
Well, not everybody can grow up in a mountain. Takes a very hardy type of individual.
Well, I mean, maybe it's different if you actually start as a baby in the mountains. But
I mean, if you're a kid, you can fall off a cliff and break your leg, and
That's-
then go.
that is probably true.
Yeah.
I did see one kid fall off cliff.
Oh, wait, did you not grow up in the mountains? Wait, did you grow up in the mountains, or did you not?
I grew up in the... And you just see her face go blank. I do not know where I grew up. I just one day woke up in the mountains, and I was like, oh, this is life now. Cool. And then I found way down from the mountains.
You know what? The adaptability and endurance is quite astounding from that. She's like, I'm going to regret this. And then she'll give you a nice little slight punch on your shoulder, and then she's bracing herself like, oh my gosh, oh no.
And Nina is absolutely going for it and is going to actively attack you.
As you guys are doing this, literally haunted fucking children background.
Oh,
Oh, I missed!
So we're good.
she just does like a quick dodge and
You know,
slaps
like
your
she
hand.
actually does hit you, but it like clips off of your shoulder, so you don't get the full brunt of it.
Yeah, she does
You
the
could probably
whole
feel.
the whole iron shirt kind of flick the shoulder off kind of thing. She's like, yeah, my training's working. Internally, she's like, that really would have hurt. Oh my gosh.
As
You
soon as
would've
you
taken
swing
5
past her and miss, it buries itself on the ground, and you see as like Hanu had kind of moved out of the way, someone who you hadn't even seen approach is suddenly standing about 10 paces behind her. And it's just this little girl in her little winter outfit with a little carol bell, and like as your weapon misses and you see her there, a little surprised
my
at where this little girl came out from. Oh, your fist? Okay, I thought you said you swung your whole thing out at her.
No, I got Tavern Brawler, so.
Yeah, okay, got it. And you see her ring the bell, and she says, "Fighting isn't very nice," and then skips off up into the little maze of a garden hedge to the estate that you were going to visit. As you catch your first glimpse of the estate, think to yourself, oh, Lady Sophia must have a daughter. And you follow up the path. You can still hear her ringing the bell ahead of you, but you never really catch sight of her after that until you finally make your way through the hedge maze and to the front door of Lady Sophia. And you can see Lady Sophia standing there. You don't hear the bell anymore. You stopped hearing it just before you came around the bend, and Lady Sophia is standing there alone, kind of arms placed right in front of her, clasped, and this simple but elegant winter cloak, big fur one that's wrapped up, and she has this trail of smoke that's kind of going off from behind her, and she steps forward down the steps and says, "Goodness, goodness, goodness, I'm so glad to have heard that the Stars and Sea Society themselves are visiting me. I feel blessed. You're famous, you know that now." And as she steps down the stairs, you see a goblin in a tuxedo smoking out of this really like Cruella de Vil type cigarette. And she's got a big bun hairstyle, very much like Roxy. But she's got a, if you can believe it, much meaner kind of expression to her face than Roxy does. Her scowl is permanently affixed to these very sharp, angular features with a very pointed, cackling witch-like chin. You know, I mean, you could poke with that chin. And she's just standing at the top of the stairs smoking, and as the lady of the household kind of sways her way down the steps with her greeting, she waves kind of dismissively behind her and says, "Matilda, the servant, pay no mind. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Now, I have heard such interesting things about your group. I was hoping that the one that had fought the Queen might come, but then again, I don't believe that this is the type of problem that steel will suffice. No. I believe that what we're facing is something else entirely. Please, come inside with me. We can't speak amongst the bushes.
That sounds like kind of like walking like with Hanu. He's just like, well, this isn't creepy at all. It's just like whispering.
Hanu will narrow her eyes and look to the bushes left and right, and then go in.
I would like you to know that
Matilda,
is incorrect. I was not doing the fightings. That is something that you would know if I was doing.
who? What?
Oh,
Nina to the woman of the house.
I swear, ma'am, I was not fighting.
It
Don't
just
ask me.
it goes right over her because you have no idea
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
I figured,
like-
but Nina would say it.
I love it. Alright, yeah, start following the lady of the house.
Matilda, the door! You watch as the goblin kind of just like places a hand on her hip and takes a. And with the smoke that goes out, you watch as it forms into a hand that opens up the door. And she just kind of rolls her eyes and watches you guys with this hawk-like stare as you walk up and past and into a very lavish and kind of old-fashioned-y. I mean, the Alvalians usually lavish, but they've gone more for chic over ostentatious as of late, preferring magical illusions over like actual ones. But everything here is like crafted, and you can see that there's a pretty decent amount of animated objects. In fact, as she walks in, she shrugs off the coat, and you watch as the coat hanger actually like bends down low to grab it before it hits the floor and puts it back up on it. And she's dressed in this almost like fortune tellery kind of outfit. There's a lot of beads going on down this like, sequined outfit, and if you want to, she stands really tall, surprisingly, but underneath the weight of that big coat, she'd been kind of slouched a little bit. And she's got, if you just wanted to imagine a like Cruella de Vil, but without the crazy hairdo, all right, then you would have a very good idea of what this woman looks like. She is very similar to the coat hanger that she just bequeathed that coat onto.
I'm just gonna narrow her eyes, look around, and then even further narrow her eyes, and then just lean into Ember. Do you think we should also be careful from the houseplants too?
Oh, no. That is why I employ Matilda.
Ah,
Matilda would never allow such treacherous things like a traitor houseplant to happen within this abode. Isn't that right, Matilda? Mm. And smoke.
Oh shit!
I love Matilda.
give a nod, give like a very sus nod or look to Ember, like, okay, I gotcha. Alright, continue.
That means yes in Goblin. Goblin only has two words, yes and no. I don't know if you knew that. One sounds like and the other one sounds like It's a very subtle difference, but you pick it up off of. Isn't that right, Matilda? See what I mean?
I thought I was the
And
dumb
she-
one.
Oh, lots of people say very foul things like that to me all the time. Like I'm crazy, or that I'm delusional, or that I have elaborate fantasies where I place myself as the victim in the center of it. However, I say that is folly. Other people lack imagination. Do you know how many magical things happen in front of people every day, and they have no idea about it? She looks at
Probably
you
very
all.
many.
Quite a lot, milady.
This is why I employ all of the best seers.
She'll look around and be like, "Oh fuck, Shadow was just..." Points to herself, confused. Yes, yes.
And at this, she kind of like literally almost like swoops in, almost like a vulture. She just glides towards you and she just swoops an arm around your shoulder and just goes, "Yes, I have heard much about your exploits. You, most of all amongst the stars and seas, fascinate me. I would love to show you what I have. I have a whole setup for it. You're gonna love it." And she just starts pushing you up the stairs.
Is
And
this
you
woman
just-
trying to kidnap Hanu?
She's gonna
I
look
would
over.
like to insight this woman.
She's gonna look over her shoulder with big pleading eyes and be like, "Oh no." But if she sees,
Okay.
if she sees,
Yes, you may, because the very first check of this
Oh.
particular one is an insight check.
Well,
So
I
whoever
do
would like to make
apologize.
it,
Ember.
Yeah, let's get Ember to make it. Nina is
Alright.
also squinting her eyes.
Alright.
Ember's gonna make the official one. I want Nina to make one to see how she's gonna react going forward. Is that okay?
yeah, no, that's fine.
Guidance of Ember.
I'll let Ember go first.
Is that max roll? Almost. Okay.
Oh my.
Okay.
Okay, wow. So looking around, you see that this lady is probably a little. She's not trying to kidnap Hanu, but is whether or not there's even anything is something you're seriously wondering and doubting at the moment, right? However, despite that, something about her avid belief rings to you. You don't think that she lied to get her here. You believe that she believes. Now, what that means, I guess we'll have to see, as she's literally guiding Hanu up the stairs around the shore. This grand spiral staircase, and there's this it is a 3-part crystal chandelier, like one threaded above the other, and they're just spinning in opposite directions. And as you walk up the staircase, it's just this like constellation map going across the inside as you walk up. And she goes, "I had this commissioned by," and just goes on and on and on about how the party she's thrown over the years and how younger you figured out about the first 30 or 40 years of this woman's life before she's gotten you to the study that she was going to show you. All right. And it goes in and out, and you're not certain how true or not, but this woman takes in a deep gasp as she lets go of your shoulders and pushes open these wide double doors inside of a it's like a hexagonal room, and in the center of it there is a circular pool of water, and you can see that on the opposite side that there are essentially what looks to be, it's kind of hard to describe, but they almost look like ant hills, or not ant hills, but like ant farms in glass. You can just see sand and little burrows going through them, and you can see that there is a set of ladders along each of the intervals that lead up to second story on this that's just lined with bookshelves and weird little bits, and she goes immediately into talking about how the pool had been made personally by architects from that had been the same ones responsible for building a cathedral in Zealous, and that the waters had been imported from a special healing oasis in the middle of the Eurasian. And like, you get the feeling that she might just continue doing this unless you focus her in on what it was you were
Oh.
originally here for.
Well, I'm actually surprised not too many people in the sovereign states know about my career in the Coterie Coast. How much do you know of it? As she's kind of steering her right towards an appropriate spot.
Oh, not much really, other than that you're known as a powerful oracle, and that important people have sought you out. In fact, I sought you out at one point in time, believe it or not. Well, of course, I sit somebody to seek you out on my behalf. I do not travel.
Okay. How long ago was that, actually? As she's just putting down her things and start taking out, I guess, like her Polymana kit.
6 years, 3 months to this day.
I see. Interesting how the stars align. Well, what is it that we have here? She rubs her hands together.
Oh, yes. Oh, as I said, I do not leave my home. I am not one who enjoys much travel. After all, I can see whatever I want to see with the right scrying technique. And as such, I notice when anything changes in my home. The slightest little thing out of place, and I would know. Which is why I can say that things are not right here. It's the bushes. They're changing. Their leaves are not in the same places that they were. And it's not the wind. I know how bushes are.
Do they often have small children who tell you not to fight?
Don't be silly. There are no children in these areas. I am not with child, and the neighbors in the homes.
Oh,
Is that interesting? Nobody with a bell starts ringing. Actually, did you hear anybody with a bell ringing by?
Oh, you must mean the carolers. They have been coming by as of late.
Okay. Alright, so how long ago did you notice that something was wrong with the bushes?
I noticed it a few days ago.
Okay.
Just before the new year, in fact.
Okay. Anything in particular?
I woke up from a strange dream, and I had, of course, went to go grab my dream journal, thinking that there must have been something there. I heard something in my garden, and it drew my attention outside. I yelled for Matilda, but she was asleep. After all, it was early in the morning, so I cannot blame her. But as I went to go and look, because I had already forgotten the dream by this point in time, of course, I needed to know what it was that had distracted me from such a vivid dream. And that's when I saw it. The bushes were not right. Of course, you try and tell the gods that the leaves have changed, and what are they going to believe? But I look for the tiniest changes in everything in my home. Everything's a sign, after all.
And And these bushes are native here, correct? Or were those imported?
No, the bushes were here before I got here.
Okay. Alright. May I have... Oh, well... And you managed to not grasp this dream, then, correct? It just floated away.
Yes, all I managed was to draw a sketch. Meaningless. No context to it, even.
If you
So
may.
okay, we
Unless
need
you
to
would like to look at it, perhaps you could divine something?
I mean, I always respect people who understand the finer workings of dreams and respect them, so by all means I would like to take a glance at it, if you will.
I have it right here. And she goes flying up, and you literally see her just glide up towards the balcony, and she reaches off from one of the shelves, and she comes gliding right back down towards it again, and she opens it up towards the page, and you see right there drawn on it is a very simple sketch of a... It might be hard to tell because it's not very good drawing, and it's really only like from most people's perspectives a few squiggle lines, but that's the sun spear, a little doodle of the sun spear.
Oh.
Hana will first just stare at this gliding and be like under her breath, not going, looks like we got another scenario here, wow, okay. I can't glide either.
Was there any magic when she glide?
You know that this whole room is magical. And looking at her clothes, like everything she's wearing is a magical item, so it could have been any one of those
Yeah.
things.
In Hanu's
Alright.
mind, she's like, apparently certain seers can do this, and I can't. Wow, okay.
Yeah,
Starts looking at
you
this
can give
book.
you could give me a side arcana check if you Zale.
Yeah.
Hanu's just looking at this book and taking a glance at it. Like,
25.
Were you able to divine anything? She asked, looking at you.
seems to be a weapon of a great warrior. At least that's what I'm
Really?
getting from it.
I thought it kind of looked like a stream or the sun rising over a river.
I could see that actually, yes. Well, the thing of it is it a sunset or a sunrise is the most important thing.
Indeed. Perhaps I will have the dream again. But in the meantime, you must look at the garden.
Of course, I will.
And Zale, with that arcana, you can tell this woman probably has very little capacity of her own. Everything that is here is paid for and installed magic, right? Other people installed these enchantments or magical items. The stuff that she's got no magical capacity. She's not casting magic or spells, and
Mm-hmm.
so, and looking at it, you figure that it's probably bot magic, but
Yeah,
fairly effective, evidently.
Yeah. Yeah.
Alright, start going down outside. And
You do get the feeling that she's got a very keen memory, though. Looking at the way she's got things set up in this place, she's probably like very mentally organized. And so you have no doubt to her statement that she knows when anything's out of place here.
Jeez.
Am I able to glance at any other entries in there? Or no?
In here?
Yeah, and just...
I mean, yeah. I mean, there's a couple of like branches like go off into other hallways. None of this place is like secure.
Oh no,
at
I was
all.
talking about
Like,
the
it's not a
journal.
fortress.
If I'm able to like read anything.
Oh no, it's only the
that-
no, it's only the one page that she
Okay,
showed
yeah,
you.
sure. All right, she will just politely fold it and yeah, just get let out to the garden.
Okay.
And then she
You might
will-
want to tap us again, honey.
She will mouth to Zale Sunspear. She's first gonna see what we're gonna do, and then she'll just smack you upside the head.
And then, as that happens, Nina is gonna smack Hanu
Oh.
and let her recover a spell slot.
Ah.
Alright, cool. I forgot I had that fucking
Just
feature.
like,
Second level
alright.
or lower.
Gotcha.
Alright. And as you make your way out to the garden, you can make either a nature or investigation check at this portion.
I'm gonna go over to my nature bro and be like, we got this, right? And I'll enhance ability. Yeah. Ember?
What's Ember have for nature?
Okay.
Oh, he.
Oh,
He did say he was back. I
he
think.
I
can hear you,
know
buddy,
he has
if you're talking.
proficiency, and he has a +2.
Sorry, what's that?
What's your
I am
nature at?
+6.
Oh, probably if you get the investigation up, +8.
Well now,
Yeah.
you two
Yeah,
want to
yeah.
compete here? Fine. And I will
Working
cast it at
together.
2nd level. So you guys both get Cunning Fox. So
Gotcha, okay. Roll it. Advantage. Low.
and anybody
Okay.
can be making these checks, correct? If
Yeah, it's a spin.
Yeah, as long as you got the points for it, yeah.
Yep. I will.
And yeah, does
There you
it?
go.
Yeah, that does. There you go.
Double 18.
Oh hell yeah!
Makes sense
Yeah,
in bushes.
that'll do it. All right. So, yeah, you can tell that these shrubs, they've all actually like recently gained a minor form of sentience.
Yes. Yeah.
They actually have been moving, and you're not 100% certain what could have done something like that. It's they're not like awakened, they're not like able to talk, but plants that hadn't been animated are now like animated. They could move their roots and move around.
Just nods at this. She's like, I was thinking we can just not just because I got a pot for it, but yeah, I was thinking maybe we can. Yeah. She, how old is this house and this garden in general?
The garden is the oldest portion of this house, in fact.
Oh,
I believe.
I see.
The portion that's out here in the hedge maze. And then there was the greenhouse, which is what was torn down so that this estate could be built.
That's why I didn't like. I don't think it's like ghost plants or something, right? She'll whisper to Ember.
Oh, I bet
Ghost plants?
Oh,
I
I
bet
do
the maze-
believe that might...
I bet the maze is angry that you tore down its friend's house. That is probably your problem, madam.
Well, if it's a haunting, plants, or something else, then we can deal with it the same way.
Well, yeah, I
We
mean,
must find the source of it, salt it, and burn it.
well, here, naturally, some plants actually do gain sentience if they're like an elder plant. I'm not too certain in what regards if it's normal in the world, but because this is such a magic touched area, I wouldn't be too surprised after a few centuries.
I cannot have my bushes up and walking about. Can you believe if I became liable for a bush walking into someone else's yard?
I mean, we could just transplant. You know, we carry these plants somewhere else, and then we put in other ones who won't be such.
And then those
disrespectful.
ones become the same problem?
I mean,
No, we must find the source of it.
Okay, sure. And then she'll look to you guys like eyes kind of like she'll show concern to her, but turn around and be like stare at you guys with a very blank expression. All right, so let's go see. She will put her ear to the plants and see if there's any talking smack that these things are doing. Just
Nothing. I mean, maybe the Ember check on it fairly well covered that they're not able to talk. They're just able to move.
Hey, can you tap my shoulder? She says to it really quietly.
No reaction.
Okay. She'll just push herself up from her push-up position, and then she'll be like, okay. Yeah.
Looks like we can run there.
Alright, yes, let's find the source.
Yeah. Let's do that.
Okay. History check.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I have that.
Yay.
Hey.
That'll do it. Looking through the way this house is built and familiarity with kind of how people generally center homes around things, you manage to go in through her house, and instead of taking the stairs up, you end up going down into the wine cellar. And it's there that you can see that the stones in this wine cellar are much older than the foundations of the rest of the house. These must be stones from what had been when the original greenhouse had been here.
Oh.
And the roots that are going through it, Ember, you recognize as being as alive as the ones that had been elsewhere. As you're looking through this cellar, you end up finding that nestled behind one of the stones in it, where it had been partially obscured by the casks of wine, was the Sun Spear, a emblem in gold affixed to the wall. And she seems fascinated because she immediately recognizes, but that's what I saw in my dream. That makes it all connect, of course. And she's so excited by this concept that she literally just rushes off and has Matilda walk you guys out, and you're left kind of confused about this whole. And it isn't until the next day that you receive a letter, as she says that she found out that it hadn't been a greenhouse; it had been a chapel. One to Saint Ava a long time ago, and as a result, she's donated it as a historical site and is moving.
Oh,
Oh.
she moves quick. I'm very impressed by that.
Huh.
Does anybody read this letter out loud to Nina?
Yeah,
Uh,
that one.
Who is this Saint Ava?
A friend.
Oh, will I be able to meet?
Soon.
You know, I think you'll be able to gather her attention if you're able to do maybe she looks up to the ceiling for a bit, like how many shoulder presses can you do?
I have never actually gotten somebody to count for me.
Okay.
I could show you.
Maybe if you get like 3,000, you would be able to summon her.
Oh,
Uh,
she is a very fancy lady. She does not just exist here.
she is a warrior, and yes, warriors
Oh,
respect
maybe
other
one day I
warriors.
will be able to fight her then. This would be fun.
I think she might enjoy it. Yeah.
I am confused.
I mean,
Is she here or is she in Sky?
well, if you do
Is she-
3,000 push shoulder presses, you might find out. We all might find out.
Also, what is chapel?
Oh, it's like a small little shrine. Sometimes by certain areas in the mountains you will see, and she will draw out certain like things that she's heard from Gran and just other stuff through books, just really Tibetan type of shrines and
Mhm.
shit. She'll be like,
Oh,
like
the
that.
places where the fancy people talk to the Sky people.
Yeah,
I
basically.
understand.
Yep. So you gotta help me out. 3,000 shoulder presses, and we will see what happens where she's coming from. Right? Got that?
This sounds like fun time.
Yes, it is.
Nina only has a vague grasp on numbers.
We will see. Hopefully that'll give enough time once Senior comes back. You're like 3,000. She's here.
Great. Well, that's one win solved. I wonder what that little
Well,
girl was.
I might be a Carolwar. I don't know. She was
She
very
ran through the
judgmental.
bush.
I would like to show her what an actual fight looks like.
Yeah, actually, what did she look like? I mean, can I draw what she had looked like?
You didn't get a good look at her because you had been dodging out of the way of Nina's hit, and she'd been standing behind you. And by the time you took, she'd been like skipping into the garden out of sight. So you really just caught like a dress. The rest of you would have seen her, and she just had a bit of black hair and kind of she looked human, probably about 10 or something like that.
Does she kind of have the vibe of like child number 4? You know, like just miscellaneous child. Nothing
Yeah,
particularly exciting
yeah.
about her.
Yeah, exactly. She just looked like, another 10-year-old out caroling without anybody else with her.
Yeah.
Right?
weird, yeah.
Yeah,
Can
Nina
can
wants to
Zell
fight this
just for-
child.
Can Zell just for necessity's sake kind of just do like go to like a local library and like research if there was any kind of like girl of that description that lived around there?
Encompassing that history check that she would have done, imagine like looking it up afterwards with the letter that she got. You would have also all gotten this information pretty much together at the same time, as it had been a chapel, a one from like before Hearthvine was like its own city, and each of the districts were like their own little hamlets, and it had been pretty much the Garden District chapel. And back then, the Garden District was just the Garden Village, and was a bustling hamlet right there on the very site where some of Ava's troops had been like originally stationed.
Okay.
So, a chapel that had been, very possibly attended by Saint Ava's Knights at some point.
Okay, so maybe an old remnant of history. You know,
Maybe.
you never know. Interesting.
Always mystery in the world.
Very judgmental. I mean, if fighting, I mean, sparring is very good amongst friends. It's not fighting if both people enjoy it.
Well, that is what that is called.
Yes. Friendly fighting is called sparring, which means nobody's bones are getting broken.
Well, I think
Oh.
it just should be easy on, it could be probably a ghost girl, so
Yeah.
I don't think you should. I don't think, like, never
Oh,
mind.
so I should not.
I mean, yeah. I mean, if you want
Are
me to
we
try
not
to,
allowed to fight the ghosts?
no.
I was always
Yeah,
told
from
that
your
it was fun
history
to fight
check,
the ghosts.
there was no tragedy or anything. It was just a chapel that fell into obscurity as the city got much bigger, and then
Some would view that as a tragedy.
yeah, like nobody died. There was no burning
Yeah.
of the chapel, or anything. Or
Yeah,
like,
so that means Nina wants to fight this child. She's not going to actively look for the child, but if she sees her, she's going to show her what's what.
No.
Yeah.
Well.
I apologize in advance for Nina's irreverence. I love
I
the
love
game.
it.
Nina's just a shit.
Great.
and then that would be the second thing on the list for y'all's exploration.
All right.
Cakewalk.
Other one would just be get those
Y'all want to buy anything?
Oh, that's the one
I
thing
mean, you don't.
need to.
This isn't going away, so like you don't
Oh,
have to
okay.
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Like, that
not
yeah,
really.
that one is there for as long as you can see. So
Okay.
at any point in time, feel free to take advantage of that. Which
Yeah.
means that as far as that shit is done, you guys would at the end of that week, going into the start of the next week, right on the very first day, Roxy would have gotten a message to you that there's a lot of people thinking that they want to sign up, evidently, and she's wondering if that's a thing we do now. And it's about time you come down here and sort this out. We don't even have paperwork for this. And with that, you guys need to decide what sort of adventuring group you want to take, what sort of focus you want to go with. Do you want to attract units and let anybody in? Or do you want to specialize and only let in people that can prove themselves to be, great heroic adventurers? And before we get into that, we're going to take a brief break. About, 20 minutes. Give you some time to think about it.
Okay.
And
I'm back.
Hmm.
All right.
Is
What up?
Nina allowed to join in this group that you have? Or am I not supposed to be in part of two of them?
We'll have something to figure out. We'll talk about your acceptance and Stars and Seeking Study after we deal with this issue at the moment.
All right. Okay.
I mean, it's kind of me and you, Honey. We're kind of a little bit opposite ends right now.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Wow. Rude.
Oh,
Yeah, get fucked, Ember.
Yeah. Oh,
Fucking hell.
oh wow.
Oh yeah,
Wait, actually, I'm sorry.
What,
Get
what
fucked,
do you
Ember.
want to read?
No, I don't care.
Yeah, right.
Oh no.
Yeah, Nina and Ember are just sitting watching this conversation, looking back and forth like a tennis match.
Oh man.
Okay, so what exactly? Since I did step away for just slightly, what exactly was the thing being proposed?
Oh, the
What?
conversation we were having before
Earlier?
session.
Alrighty.
It's
Yeah.
the in-character part of it.
yeah,
Yeah, now it's the in-character part.
She just leans
Yeah.
back on her chair and just stares at you, gives you a neutral expression, and raises an eyebrow.
Ember will quickly offer everyone a smoke before they get started.
She grab,
Nina will take.
yeah, she'll grab it.
Oh, yep. Hmm. Hmm.
Arthur will as well. Oh, great. Now we're getting down to the nitty gritty of it.
Well, we always
Zell will
forget
sit
that.
down and put on his glasses. It looks
The
very
problem
like.
with being famous is that's when the expectations come in. Now we gotta decide what kind of group we are.
Hmm.
I think you all know what my position would be.
You're thinking of hiring everybody.
Listen,
Correct.
if we change the world, and we just all of a sudden leave or just retreat, we destabilize it. What is the purpose of change if there isn't a period of... She starts like making this flipping hand motion. When seasons change, there's always a buffer zone in between. What means we can't be that? Things change, but there needs
I
to
mean, because we're chaotic and we have no clue what we're doing half the time.
What do you think the seasons are most of the time? There is a pattern there,
and
but it's sometimes out of flux. And even though we're chaotic, we do have a tendency to at least bring a calm afterwards.
Well, here's the counterpoint to that. Sure, we can stabilize the region, but then we have to maintain that stabilization.
And train others.
Which,
There's always a passing of the torch.
but it's still us and our influence. People have different cultures, different ways of life. We are still in their regards, even if we do liberate them. Still, it's a hard choice. We're still maintaining control, which they've been under control from others.
Yeah.
Sure, we could unite people, liberate them, especially with the things going on in Iraq and everything. But it also leaves us kind of vulnerable. Bigger army means, inevitably, spies and everything like that.
That is true.
And also, if we stretch ourselves thin, trying to be the peacemakers of every region we go to save, then eventually we're gonna run grown really thin. And a lot of expectations could be thrown at us.
I mean,
And other nations will be something I would feel threatened
of course we
if
grow
global
thin,
peacemakers around.
but that means we can influence others to bolster that thinness. We guide. It's the whole thing of Pualimana. We don't show them how things are done. We show them particular paths to follow. We don't tell them how things are. We allow them to feel it out.
But if we do it that way, it'd be a lot better if we do it in smaller forces.
And then what? We create a power vacuum, and then let others squander about. And then we're gonna have to
No.
be brought in again. Or unless you want to assassinate other people too.
I'm not saying assassination. I'm saying there is bigger problems in this world. There's not just about war.
There's gonna be a world war. And while we could be...
But if we could prevent the world war from even happening, by focusing on very specific targets,
Yeah, I mean,
or army.
put it like this. You know how everything is connected, right? I mean, that's what we're always talking about. Convergence, fate, coincidence. Everything is pointing towards something. Again and again. the war and all of this stuff going on in the background. The way I look at it, whatever the hell Brave Albions got themselves in, that's the stuff in the background. That's the back channels. That's like the lines of ki that draws the energy through a person's body. You can keep making body blows all day long, but if you know how to hit somebody in just the right spot, that's where you can really stun them.
Yes, and even if you stun them, you need to ensure that the proper flow continues. If we're able to at least know that the world out there is stable, that means we can put everything else we have to make those sudden strikes.
Bahana,
That's for the big brains, though. What are we? I mean, we're a fist. Whenever we ever thought our way through anything, do we really think that we've got the history or the merit to fulfill that power vacuum once we get to it? I mean, what makes us any different from what we saw in 1983? Well, isn't that what Cal was doing over there with the not Barack?
Yeah, he had a group of highly trained people. At least if he had Cal, and Barack is very trained.
but
Yeah, and an
in that-
entire occupation force.
I guess like that meaning, we did side with Yellum that were gone. They became our army. That didn't so well for us. I
No,
feel like
what-
in even the future we saw with Killam, you were admiral. But that into the future ended as well as tragedy.
Here's the thing, we had no armies to be behind. We were by ourselves. We were the highly trained people.
Yeah,
There's more
and
of us, but look how much we accomplished though. If there's more of us highly trained, imagine how much we could accomplish, how much we could prevent before it starts. If we make an army, we're not preventing anything, we are trying to manage it. Or something that's already happened. Like you said, we're trying to control the flow. But controlling the flow can lead to erosion. And that's the thing that stops it.
No, controlling the flow leading to erosion means you push too much water in there. You think you're controlling it, but you need to divert it at the right place.
But we can be the diversions with our specialized units.
Just crosses
If
my
we-
arms.
You still get the end result of that. But without the bigger risk of us holding a dam that might burst at the seams at any moment.
And or you can just have just a small group of highly trained engineers trying to uphold that dam, or ask the whole village to pitch in as well. Are you just gonna say, listen, don't worry, this dam, if it collapses, we got your backs, alright? We're gonna make sure you don't need to evacuate because we're highly trained. Or do we teach the villagers how to look for problems so then they can pinpoint when to ask for help? Because even though we're highly trained, we're still spread. Our eyes can't go everywhere. Highly trained
But
networks
also-
can't go everywhere. We need trust within people to know when to put our forces, where to put our forces.
exactly. Which is why we shouldn't be recruiting not a single person. Close the doors, put up a sign even. I mean, do we really want to be letting anybody into this mess, this disaster? We shouldn't be trying to think about supporting the... We haven't even figured out how we're going to save it yet. So, the only people we can trust is us. And in that regard, I have a lot of faith in our ability to hit where it hurts.
Yeah, that's right, honey.
Yeah, to hit
Not
where it
necessarily
hurts.
saying close the door, but
And if we do have highly trained people and some of them do get our spies, then we have a large portion that just got gutted out.
Same with our military, if we go full.
That means at least there's contingency. They don't know. We didn't let them in too close.
But it's also a problem too, especially what we're dealing with on it. We are dealing with things that are not of this world. Those kind of people will buckle underneath the horrors.
Unless
They
we
will face.
train them to be strong. You can't expect to save
But
the
that-
world and then leave the world behind, because they're not strong enough to carry on.
I want to say that. There are nations out there. Us trying to be our own nation, I don't feel like it's going to help us in the long run. I
Then-
feel like we're going to get bogged down by the many problems that's going to happen across all the world. And then at that point, when the bigger problem comes up, the true horror of this world comes up, it would be too spread thin, almost like you said, with a specialist, but in another manner, another way. As much as I can understand where you're coming from, I feel that trying to stabilize the world is also being just kind of relying on ourselves. Because at the end, we command that army. No one else does. And in a way, we are alone. Where, if we take us the smaller side, work together with the countries around us, then not just with armies, but as collaborations with all nations around us, help them in the crucial details, so then they can reinforce themselves. Like you said, that's the reference you speak of.
She'll
If we have
pinpoint.
specialists, maybe the country will want to try and teach the people how to fix the dam.
She'll pinpoint to certain areas. Look at the armies, and look who we know is infiltrating them. We're specialized, sure. But do you really think we're gonna always be seen as the enemy or as the hero that way? If we just go in and out, we have all this damage, and then we just leave.
Here's the thing. If we do the specialists, we're not causing damage of that level. It will be surgical. It will be precise.
Listen,
There
I
will be
wanted
no
surgical and precise, but guess what happened? We're drilling in from the
yeah,
bottom.
we're never gonna be surgical and precise. Are you
Oh.
kidding me? We're gonna go in there and we're really fucking loud, but we're gonna be ourselves, alright? And the only people we have to take responsibility at that point in time is ourselves. If we open ourselves up to trying to lead armies, that makes us responsible for every place that we march into. Otherwise, if we just keep it like us, at the end of the day, we're not an army. We're not trying to tell people how to live their lives. We're just the ones who finally stood up and said, enough is enough. I've got to do something about this. I mean, after all, you can only wade through shit so much, right?
He has a point on it.
People are allowed to be people, and if they want to persecute us for that, fine. But at the end of the day, we did nothing wrong, because we didn't live outside of ourselves. But trying to determine the future of nations, I mean, listening to both of you talk about this, I don't know, I feel like the flashing light bulbs are dazzling everybody's heads. We're a bunch of fuck-ups, and at this point in time, the doors open up, and this portion being the only part that's not actually like surrounded by glass. When the doors open, you can see flashing light bulbs from outside. As you'd had to go through recruits when you'd been first going in, that had been waiting, hearing about whether or not y'all were accepting people. There had been just about one news reporter out there reporting on it, but it seems like there's more now. Opens the flash of light bulbs, you see Prince swayed his way in, and he's like, "Oh dear, It looks like you've become quite popular. This is going to be good for business. Oh, and look at you all standing around the war table. You look positively dastardly. Are we planning a conquest? I do love the idea of world domination, don't you?
Close the door.
Ah,
Listen, I don't know wherein you guys thought that I wanted to tell people how to run their lives, especially since I've grown up that way. But you need
That's
to
not what I'm
sometimes
getting at.
cause a push to happen in the right direction, and you just need to be there long enough to make sure that push doesn't create a vacuum. But if you want to go your way, then fine, I will be outvoted. I already said my piece. That's the
Oh,
only
we're
thing I can do.
voting now.
Just words
Hana's
getting
not
taken.
saying.
No, wait, here's the thing. Words taken out of context, being twisted. I'm not good at explaining things. And I will never be good at explaining things. But everybody else knows what's on the table. Everybody else can form their own opinion. So my words should not dictate what should happen. We all do. Let the people decide.
I'm not 100% certain about the context of what I've just walked into. But I can say one thing, Hanu. That statement is just not true. I mean, after all, it's your PR circuit of explaining things that has drawn everybody that's outside right now.
He has a
They're
point.
all here because of you.
Yeah, and my way is not the right way, though.
I'm
You
not
need to be
saying
more
it's not the right way.
specialized and tell people, no, you don't have the agency to control your own lives and step up, but a few people do. Because we want to be precise and we don't want to take charge of the things we say and the actions we do. But I
Oh,
understand that.
honey, I love you as a sister. What I'm saying is not saying to avoid people's lives. We're not influenced them at all. That's not what I'm getting at. What I'm getting at is that we will be taking, if we do this, big and dumb and everything, the responsibility of the world to manage. Not necessarily influencing lives, but it would come to a point where people look up to us for answers, especially if a war-torn area. And at that point, who's gonna? Yes, we can guide them, but they might be complacent under our protection, and that happens without any of us being involved. I'm not saying you're wrong. I am not. I am just pointing out that very much so that both sides of what we're agreeing on has both cons and pros.
Then you be the one who makes the decision and tell them out loud. It won't be me. I brought them in, and we'll see who stays. Just staring at you, and she just leans. She's been leaning back in her chair, and she just leans forwards. As I said, we will vote, and we'll see. To the proud few and the mighty small.
Well, you know my vote.
I actually do want other people in the group to have a say in this, not just those who are here.
I agree on that.
And we'll just make a call on the intercom just to make the final vote. Give a very brief synopsis of both sides.
Both sides.
Yeah.
Giving both cons and pros.
Yep.
Oh, I love you, Hanya.
Just like,
That was so good.
I give you a little noogie. I myself
So-
give you a noogie.
You debate back and forth on it for some time, and everybody will eventually place in a vote. Everybody's gathered in the war room that would be relevant for making the vote, but we'll post it in Discord and
Yeah.
have everybody actually vote. And then it'd be assumed that y'all discussed this over the course of an entire hour of talking, and finally just had a raise of hands. Arthur didn't raise his hand for either vote because he doesn't think that we should be recruiting anybody.
Valid option.
And freaking and Prince would vote for armies instead of units instead of specialists.
Of course you will.
And Kelly would also vote for units over specialists, and Maya would actually be split on this and vote for specialists over units. Tarana would as well, and then we will put up the poll in Discord to see what everybody else would vote for.
Because it's 3-3 even.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh, I love it, man. So good.
Yeah. And with that, we will take a break as you guys prep for your journey to go to Wildevere and the Bayou of Sweetwater, where you're to seek out Mama Know-How on how to receive directions to the Negative Energy Temple.
Nina wants to wrestle a crocodile.
Yes!
Stop that at once.
Hell yeah. Oh, that was good. That was good. Just imagine like Del and Han like two opposite sides of the war table discussing this.
Mhm.
Both very stern. Oh, that was good.
Mhm.
I love Arthur though. Arthur is like, do we have to, guys? Can we just like do
Can we
none?
just, like, fuck everyone, please?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
yeah. I had to have the two like other points for the argument on it, so I had to bring in a middle person. Arthur's the good one,
Hell yeah,
and,
sounds great.
and then Prince.
Kid old Prince.
He's
Which-
like, world domination. That's totally the way to go. We will make our brand the only.
Monopoly.
Just like winced at that, be like, oh.
Oh man, that was great. Well, like,
But
Well,
yeah, that's just like that was the inadvertent hole poke through the thing, though, is that people like Prince will see the monopoly of y'all's position as like opportunity for influence, and it might be kind of hard to curb that influence when you're spread so wide.
Yep. Just why I'm thinking we should probably go specialist, but we'll see how everybody else votes.
Yeah,
well, the main thing which Zell was very much speaking of was how the Ashfall happened, and how much he was just spread so fucking thin. And like, sure, he knew information about everything in the world because he has such a big following. But like, look how easily it was turned against him. Was very much like Zell's mindset going into that. Like, we kind of witnessed what like.
And then we look at the
So-
Maravisis, who had one person
Right, I know it's great.
who was the traitor, and guess what? Who knows what it was, leaked because of that.
I know.
Oh
so
man.
Great. It's
That's
so
why
great. We have
she
those
was
two parables.
slightly, subtly alluding, guess who's dead now and whose secrets are out in the open? The Maravisis.
Oh
She
man.
doesn't want to talk smack about Adamar because you're still a part of the Maravisis right now, but she's like,
Well, he did bring up the astral because you have some kind of past with the astral.
So
being
yeah,
good.
we're just both like, we could dance around this topic all day if we
Right.
want. I'm fucking ready, let's go.
I love we're thinking the same exact things of it, like the exact opposing phases, just not saying it because they're like,
I
I'm still your
respect
friend.
you too much. So fuck you, man.
That was great. High character versus high wisdom character.
And Frederick will be traveling with you guys for this thing now.
Okay.
Hell yeah. We will definitely inform the Brave Outling that we're going to do this too.
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Mm-hmm.
Hannah's legitimately excited that we're going to Wildebeer, and she'll be asking everybody, "Do you guys want to come?" What? To all the NPCs, and be like, "Sinera, where are you going? You want to come to Wildebeer? Okay, I don't know where you're at."
Well, definitely Fee's coming along because he has something Fee here.
Kelly, if you come along, then you can see what the Availing Alchemist's place looks like. Please come along.
Just pre-log everybody.
I know, she's like, Kelly, please come on.
Trying to rope in everybody. I love it.
We're going.
I
to
just
Florida,
realized
y'all.
how
leave?
fitting Nina's weapon is for Wildebeer.
Right. I was gonna say
You're gonna have so many animals camping in there. It's good luck trying to get them all out. No, this is my rent. I pay you money. I stay here.
Did Brave Allen give us anything for this mission, or not yet?
Oh gosh, Gwen needs to be in the vote too. So we'll see where Gwen goes.
Excited for Nina to interact with you.
Gwen will vote in favor of units.
Okay.
Surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah, that surprised me. She's
Mhm.
done it before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like, yeah.
And look where that led. Eventually.
A lot
Valiant
to Dark
Empire.
Seneschal and the Stars and Brave Albion. Whoops.
Right?
All of the things that we are currently enwrapped in all directions with Gwen.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, it like we have so many references that like in character we know as like Zell and Hanu of like both sides of what their like cons are and
Yeah.
their pros. Literally witnessing it, you know? So
They send each of you with 2 doses of antitoxin.
oh, that's gonna be fucking good. Okay.
Okay.
Boy.
So she will be like,
Saying, be careful for poisonous snakes.
Ah!
hell
Oh
yeah,
no, snakes!
hell yeah. So it's just
Why
like,
is it
fuck
always snakes?
Why is it always snakes?
Is Arthur gonna say something like that when we get there?
I'm tired of these motherfucking snakes
On this
motherfucking
motherfucking
swamp.
plane! No, on this motherfucking plane. PLANE.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I'm just mentioning swamp.
Yeah. That's what those air boats are. This is this is the water plane. So yeah, she will excitingly bring along Gwen and be like, Gwen, Fee, Kelly, you coming? Kelly, no, alright, bye. Kelly doesn't come.
No, Kelly's busy.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, as is Maya. And Gwen will be going with, and Frederick will be going with, and Feet will be going with.
Okay.
Yeah, one of her items is that.
There is one requirement for all of those people coming on the trip with us. Nina must give them a hug.
He will definitely take it. Frederick, I don't know.
I don't know what Frederick's gonna do, but Nina's gonna go for it. She will grapple him if she has to.
Frederick just reverses gravity on you real quick.
Yeah.
And he's just gonna forlornly look out the window, knowing that her big sis isn't here. Oh.
Oh.
Oh. Kelly,
Okay, we'll
no.
come back. You know, if we survive the day of the demon and everything, we'll come back. I don't say that in character.
Wow. Wow.
It's okay. I'm gonna have to die, so I mean, I'm gonna get my dues worth here.
I'm
in a
so
couple
excited for
sessions.
Nina to just yeet you into a thing.
Right? Oh, it's gonna be wonderful. I definitely hope Brooklyn's here when we do get to negative play in that part. It's gonna be nice. It's gonna be a nice emotional moment, and then kick.
Nina's gonna ruin it. It's gonna be so good.
Fucking Spartan kicks you in.
Yeah. This is madness. No, this is Nina. Kick.
This is Nina.
Oh man.
How's it?
We are getting to all the stuff I've been so excited for.
Mm-hmm. I didn't think I'd
Frederick's
be going
traveling
first.
with you guys.
Mhm.
Dr. Freya, who I've been like, laying the for fucking ever now. I mean, I name dropped that like so long ago.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God.
That's
I'm
the first time we met Frederick before the hospital.
Yep, that was a long time ago.
Back when we thought he was a vampire.
Right?
Yep.
Um,
God.
shoot.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I guess I could switch for Brooklyn, because one of the things, since we did have like extra time, was Zell was definitely gonna ask Rue to cast Legend Lore on Bloodthirster, since negative shit before like going to Wilderveer, since we did have a little time, and she did pick that up.
Yeah.
So.
Did Frederick say whenever she does any scrying to go to his place, like just
Yes.
Okay, so she would have been
Yeah.
there for the dragon turtle shit, and then she has her own conspiracy board, probably like in the vicinity of Frederick's, but it's like has a lot more sticky notes and color coordinated stuff.
Yeah,
A lot of
yeah,
drawings.
that's nice.
Yeah, it's like,
Slowly but maturely, you get Zell in there too, and then it's gonna be like 3 walls of conspiracy for 3
Mhm.
different people.
It's gonna be great.
she has like little doodles on there too, just because she's like zoned out. She's like, haha.
It's totally gonna happen when he does this whole thing with Pridwin. I'm just saying, that's what's gonna happen. And Zell's gonna be like, I need a place to research. And just start putting notes in conspiracy. A lot of dates, guys. A lot of dates is gonna happen there.
Yeah. Oh, also, yeah,
Same
no,
day.
I was distracted because my dog was having a fucking tantrum. But during that whole fight, when you kind of were talking about shit, Nina, and I can't remember exactly where I was going, what it was connected to. I just remember what the example she was going to use was. And she was going to use her maul. She was going to make it all swampy and shit. Use a couple charges. And be like, you want to be able to walk through this shit like me. And then she'd walk around it like normal. Now come to me. And then she'd get somebody to walk in it and they wouldn't be able to. Or it would be like difficult terrain, I believe.
Mhm.
And that was going to be her analogy. Can't remember what it was for. It's out of my brain.
Mm-hmm.
I think I can get where you probably were going with that.
Yeah. But again, I was paying attention to dog, trying to read over the hammer, and then everything else. So I was like, I'm not going to bother with this. But I feel like the fact that I would have only a vague concept of what I was talking about would be very in character for Nina. So I probably should have just done it.
Just done it, and it'll like literally, it's just like
and
the
then
final
somebody
bit.
asks like, "Oh wow, what did you mean by that?" I do not know. It felt like it was the right thing to say.
We're probably like telling Hanu at that point, like we're just thinking, critical thinking about what that means. Like, you don't.
And then also Nina would get to just like make a swamp in the middle of the war room, which she would love.
Hell yeah! Yeah, Hanu would be like, okay. Oh shit! That everybody would have seen that. Yeah, Honey does get distracted sometimes. She's like, oh, zoned in on that. Be like, oh, let's just start like looking around it before noticing. Oh shit! I have to be professional. Oh.
Don't even put on his glasses. For the professionalness.
I almost made a "he looks like a nerd" comment from Nina, but I decided against it.
That was pretty much doing like the thing that like Predwin did when he first met him, where he had the fingers like crossed together over the desk, both his elbows up, and kind of like leaning, kind of like just leaning forward a little bit as he's talking with the glasses on.
When you and Zarman went to go talk to him?
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say, if that was a meeting where Babette had been there, she would have called Zale out on it.
Like a nerd.
I like that ambience stuff, man.
It
honestly, it's very calming for being in the South for such a long time. It's really nice, actually. Like hearing the frogs and everything. Oh man, the fucking Sweetwater guys, man, freaking world over here, guys. We're gonna just to remind ourselves, the last time we were out of country was in Urat, but only for like a little bit. Like this is us actually being out of country.
The last time we were out of Avale on purpose was before we were out of Avale.
Exactly.
Or before we entered Avale.
Hanu will show you guys what I'm pretty sure it's called noodling. Just stick your hand in the water and get like a catfish to chomp on, and she'll be like, "Ha!"
Hell, Nina is gonna take to that.
She'll be like, "This is one of the ancient ways."
Nina is gonna grapple the shit out of some catfish.
So this transfers to a werewolf real quick and just sticks his claw into one of them.
Yep.
No, you do not want the claws. That ruins the meat. Why would you do that? You are making dinner very shitty. Stop it.
Eats it.
Just
Eats it in front of you.
Yes, you don't even have to do the cooking. So why not? And then Nina would eat it too.
I was just like, dude, just getting all of this fish and just throwing them back and trying to catch more. I was like, ha! Yeah!
Oh man. I'm just thinking in my head now, just like, oh yeah, there's one way to get rid of a really powerful werewolf, Chris. You have to fucking die.
Oh, don't worry, you'll get better.
That's why we're not doing your thing until after you do this thing.
Yeah, I had a feeling. I had a feeling the more we talked about it, I was like,
meditate it off when you can just die.
Right.
Yeah, Predwin's just gonna be like spritzing you with water every single time if you're sure like doing that. She's like, stop. Boy,
no,
down.
Probably Predwin would see now the purity in the way it was stored. He's just like, it is time.
Yeah,
time
no,
for what? To line.
No, if you did go in there with your werewolf, you would have just been like, down, get that little lemon spray that dogs can't.
Lemon spray.
Yeah, no. When you guys find Babette again, she's not gonna know that Zale's not a werewolf anymore, and she's just gonna spray bottle him out of annoyance whenever she can.
Yeah.
Just at one point, he just like flicked his wrist to make an arcane wall, like arcane like shield around him. It was like, I do not like you.
Well, you're no fun. And I know you love me. Who's the one who got you married?
depending on which you might not be that you might be not in a relationship depending on when we get you.
Yeah, it depends how long y'all fucks take to get her.
Yeah. Oh.
Sorry, I replaced Babette with, puts a pillow. Her. She's white like you.
Yes, and Wanderer just swings over for persuasion check, which both me and you are not good at.
They're like, bro, listen.
What is your charisma modifier, Otter?
A big whopping 0.
Oh, okay, so I got a little bit like a +2 on it.
Yep, I got her. And we both have guidance, so we're like,
Yep.
eh.
Thank you, Devil.
Okay.
That's why I got the +2 was because of the Devil. Damn it! I
Yeah,
should
if y'all
have.
want to roll it right now.
Oh, sure.
You want to roll it?
Yeah, sure.
Alright. So this is probably persuasion plus guidance.
Yeah, persuasion plus guidance.
Goddamn drill. Fucking hell.
Alright. 15.
Alrighty.
Hello, my guys.
Yeah.
Oh! Aha!
Yeah, she's not gonna try to
I
roll
think
that.
it might be easier to wander where we need to if we're not quite as big of a family, you know? Anyways, get too many cousins, it's so hard to keep track of them, trust.
I mean,
And he'll vote on behalf of specialists.
okay. Relax.
Nina votes for Drill and proposes to set the world.
Of course.
I don't want to set the
unfair.
world on fire.
Look, all I'm saying is, you don't have to make this decision if everything's burnt to the ground.
Which
This
you can
is
do
very
better with
true.
an army.
Oh my
I
god.
say out of character.
No, you get a bunch of specialists who specialize only in fire, and then Nina brings out an alchemist fire
Well,
class.
I will get all my specialists who are specializing in water, and guess what? We're gonna fucking do. We're gonna drown the whole world. Yeah.
Oh, so you have switched to the side of the specialists. I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Guess,
see, look, I
Gus-
have convinced you.
guess how big the ocean is. You're gonna need an army of specialists to do this.
No, actually, surprisingly, in like 2 weeks from now,
I've just had a stroke of genius. Look at you two right here. And he puts his fingers together in that like movie director way, and just looking at the two of you like debating this right now between each other. And he's like, just stay right there for one moment. Genius. And he turns around and you watch as they and them to come in with him, spin in and conjure between them a big canvas. And he just, one of them holds a palette and the other one presents him a paintbrush, and he just starts painting this picture. It's like the comic book style that you guys have been using for your comics recently, but it shows the two of you, and then it's like, Maelstrom Madness. And as YouTubing two separate teams facing against each other in a Maelstrom tournament.
I want a scar right there. She just points over. She nods approvingly. Like right by like the jawline. Yeah.
Oh yes, I
don't
think
be-
with a couple of months of preparation, we could get this going and have quite the turnout. Probably almost as big as our debut.
Alright.
Wouldn't that be nice?
oh man.
We're getting down and dirty with this. Okay, yeah, let's freaking maelstrom it out. Yeah.
You two just need to decide who your teams are gonna be.
Okay.
In the meantime,
like
I'm
to
going
be
to
with the
work
genius.
wonders with the whole fire and blood. It's gonna be fantastic.
at this point, Prince knows like everything too. He's like, Zella has sat down, have a conversation with Prince. Prince knows what's going on.
You're like, well, guess what? Hey, bro. Looking over to Timber. If you're my team, I could figure out how water could like make better fire.
No, the Domo. He painted it like you two this being a match of you two against each other.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like it literally almost looks like a fight promo the way
Oh,
he
shit.
painted
Yeah,
it.
fucking
And
hell,
one
let's
of them just
fucking
has
go.
big
Let's go.
fire blazing, and the other one shows a big tsunami wave
Oh,
crashing against
Amber
fire.
and Hanu.
Yeah, Ember and
Oh.
Hanu.
Okay, let's fucking go, bro. Let's fucking go. She's just really aggressive right now.
I am not a sporty person.
I would
Well,
love to
that's
see
the
the very
fantastic
warm
thing about
boy in the
that.
water ball. That would be very fun.
All you have to do is wave the stick around. It looks rather easy, actually.
Oh, would you like to do it?
I think it's much more complicated than that.
Okay, anyways. Oh.
I'm certain Hanu here can catch you up to speed.
No, yeah, sure.
It'd be a wonderful way to showcase the new addition to the team. Fire that can't be put out even by a maelstrom. Wouldn't that be fantastic?
I need a smoke.
Yeah, you're gonna need that when I destroy you.
Hanu, you're listening to Prince right now. You're being swept up in the maelstrom right now. Come on, come
I
back
am
to
the maelstrom. What are you talking about?
Hanu, get down from the table. Hanu, get down from the table now.
One is it's like a terrible tsunami, violent, crashing, while the other is like warm, cold, relaxed, and laid back. Yes, this is going to work wonders for y'all's image.
Oh.
Oh,
God.
you like me
Ember's
on my...
eyebrow is gonna twitch slightly.
Yeah,
Dell just like it's like doing the whole glasses thing like, where he takes his glasses off and he's just like squeezing both his eyes, he's rubbing both his eyes.
And since you've made your decision on your recruitment policy, I'll make sure to put a positive spin on it. After all, you're doing this to keep the people safe. You don't want to take any old farm boy and put them in the dangers that the entire nation is worried about. You're thinking about the little person while standing up for them. I'll get to work. And with that, he leaves, and your paperwork is, finished up as Roxy had been there typing stuff, talked, and, Yeah, I just need you to sign and stamp here. And each one of you that was there signs on this piece of paper. And it showcases how you voted on it. So
She will stare at Zale really intensely, say, I better have a navy. And just writes.
Still people to vote on this, isn't there?
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are.
What's that?
Something. I mean, the only one like Zarman could jump on it, but then there's going to be another NPC who might make or break it. So
Yeah.
I mean, you
Fair
guys
enough.
aren't really. I mean, you haven't really stated any position there, so it's just going to be keep on.
yeah, I figured you were.
Yeah.
Yeah, I figured you two were taking the Arthur route of. Well, his is a more like standard reasoning for not voting on it, but it's the
Yeah,
same thing for
Ember-
why Fee's not voting either because she's like, thinking about
Ember honestly doesn't understand enough of the situation at hand to really think he warrants a vote anyway.
I
Like,
can-
I'm sure that they have goods and bads for either, but I don't know.
I can picture Nina actually saying, I don't give a shit, so each of you give me a reason and I will vote for this one. Like, she would kind of take the wander route, but it would be with the I don't give a fuck. Somebody convinced me to sign the paper one way or the other. But if you don't want to deal with that, that's
Also,
A-okay.
Nina's
Yeah, Nina isn't relevant, I
Also-
know, but I can
Yeah.
still picture her saying that.
Yeah, so kind of be like, yeah, don't worry about it, Nina. This is
Yes,
kind of
but I spent many times listening, and you would not let me fish in the pool, so I had to say something.
Like, yeah. The other way that I could see it is we could ask Sunera, but given how she is such a lone wolf and specialized, she'd be like, I feel like she would go either
Yeah.
neutral or specialist. So
she would go specialist. I just
Yeah.
didn't have her vote because she wouldn't have cast one unless asked. And
yeah, and I
you know,
would have
again, it was
asked
just
her.
another.
Yeah, I would have asked her, and then she would have given that, and she'd be like, "Okay, I've been outvoted. I will concede."
Yeah, I kind of feel like Zarman. I feel like might have gone the units route on things. But who knows? And I don't really want to have to reach out at the moment to test on that. Plus, again, if it was, then Sunera is again
Specialist.
the other balance on
that's
it.
why, like,
so.
we with Wander voting to that, it would have been stacked
Yeah.
in favor. So Hanu
Exactly.
Hanu will concede, but say, "I'm gonna fucking get a navy, though." Okay.
Alright, we'll get you a navy in the future, alright?
Yeah,
That's a promise.
And I'm gonna also watch over the other units too, because apparently, she starts mumbling afterwards. Just
Yeah, the Wanderer was the swing vote.
yeah. So
So that persuasion was very. That was the persuasion check.
I'm like, I'm not gonna re-roll that with the channel divinity because that is unfair, unfair kind of thing. So I'm like, whatever gets it, okay, yeah, there you go.
But you're a cleric.
Imagine it was
don't
tied.
say that.
Oh yeah, that would be awkward. So
Oh.
Rock, paper, scissors for it.
yeah.
Right? Oh no! Rock, paper, shoes.
As I said, my first vote was for specialist, but I'm like, she would definitely want units. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Sapphire's
I mean-
okay with this.
Yeah.
Hanu is
Yeah.
not.
yeah, she'd be like, fine.
Mm. Where Michelle likes the idea of units, but Zeld likes the idea of specialists.
Yeah.
It's funny.
You
Yeah,
Very
guys
much-
have to argue each other's points.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what, like, the funny thing is, like, I can understand Michelle the point of what she's making, but she can understand the point I'm making.
Yeah, that's why I'm like,
It was great. There was a little mix and match there going
well, yeah.
on.
So she's gonna do all her best to at least make a political force in the Coterie Coast because we don't have an army to protect it now. Fine. Wow, I gotta do everything myself. Starts rolling up her sleeves and be like, fucking throw everybody else in here with the tsunami. Pieces of shit.
Oh man, I love it.
Mm-hmm.
So good. Yeah, because even if Zarmi was to vote units, which most likely probably would, I mean, still swing into
Yeah,
specialists.
Wander and Sunera really kind of dictated that. So,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah.
Bet and Eliza would be like, they're both off the radar. We're like, shit.
Yeah. So I have a feeling that, like, both Babette or probably both of them probably would vote as best specialists.
Babette, as a specialist, would probably vote specialist.
Well, I'm just gonna go here with my gentle griffin guards right here. My unit.
My Griffin card.
These are
It's okay.
mine.
I have my specialist. All right.
Yeah, you don't got the trio of bastards though. So yeah, don't talk to me. Wow. Alright,
I
take
got
care.
something better. I got 3 of these guys.
Yeah,
I-
are they a trio of bastards? No. No, one trio, not 3 ones. 3 singles to make a
Not
trio.
3 1. Not 3
3-1.
Yeah, the 3 ones.
Oh my god.
They're not even singles because they're just a specialized 1.
Douglas like, I can put them on teams too. It's just a bit, they're just slower to pick a team.
Yeah, sure, yeah, whatever. Okay, yeah, just the whole journey to Will-O-Wisp is gonna be like this.
Oh my god,
Yeah,
the whole
sure.
way there.
Little sister just being like, oh, okay, fine.
It's the brother who won the argument, but the little sister's still a little bit mad that he
A little
won.
bit salty, yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Do you want to say that whole conversation really made me miss Babette and Arthur?
Yeah. Oh god.
Prime uncles.
Yeah. Oh, I love freaking Babette and Arthur interactions. Those are the funniest shit. They're way too much in sync for my liking,
Yeah,
though. It
it's
was
so
like,
good.
what the
It's
fuck?
because I'm so accidentally in sync with Chance sometimes.
Oh man. Good old Sweetwater. Oh man, I'm so excited. Ooh. And a fucking new country, guys. I'm so hyped.
Yeah.
And dude, I don't know how, like honestly I can count the times I've been in the campaign where I've been in like a swamp region, like on my like one hand. I'm really looking forward to this. Cause swamp freaking land is really cool.
I think I could count it on a single finger, and that finger isn't technically raised yet.
Mm. Good old swamps in the bayou.
But
You
say no, that's not
appear in the middle of the swamp, actually. Having reconvened with your plan and talked about it with Brave Albion, he warned you of poisonous everything and gave you some antitoxins just in case, but figured you'll be fine. And as you met up with the Arvalian alchemist, she cackled about, oh, of course. The organization wouldn't have gotten that far, would they? They wouldn't dare go into the swamps. All right, Sir Richard, let's go! As she spins the wheel of the helm dramatically, it just goes round and around. Watch as in a moment it just goes speeding through clouds, and then it feels like it whiplashes for a moment, and you find yourself looking out over a foggy swamp. You can only barely make out the figures of massive trees, probably about 20 feet wide. And their roots creating these fingers down into the swamp. Still waters around you. It's a light ripple going away from your hovering tower. And looking around, it's a good 30, 40 feet towards even these vague shadows, swamp trees, cypress and moss clinging off of them like bits of loose garments around the wrists of wooden giants with their fingers in the soil. Oh, it looks terrible down there. Sir Richard, you should go with them. Yes, my lady, I will. And as you make your way down the levels to the skydock on the side, your airship, the Misfit, just sitting right next to it, a small crew on it, and your 3 allies, Frederick, Gwen, and Fee. As it sets off away from it into the swamp. You let it lower down into the water. The trees getting a bit denser so that you can't fly anymore. You take the channels through until you can hear the sound of conversation, voices drifting through the fog. There's waves crashing against something in the distance, a lapping of water against wooden posts, and the clinking of a bell, chains, someone hammering away at forge. Civilization. And there's this strange, before you even see it, a sweet, sickly smell. Like it's too sweet. And you can feel the buzzing of flies in the air. You have to smack a few of them away. And as you draw closer, you finally see the docks of Sweetwater. There are about a couple of dozen people, 3 boats. 2 of them are large trade ships, and one of them a moderate-sized fishing vessel built for fishing out of the sea. There's many more smaller fishing vessels, ones built for the swamps beyond. But you can see that this is, in fact, a port to the ocean. And as you can smell the scent of salt water mixing in with the sickly sweetness, and the gray fog parts away towards the orange light coming from inside people's homes. The slight chill of winter still meets your skin, and you shiver and see your breath in the air, like bits of ghosts rising out of your body. Everybody that's working is doing so in a sort of a reverence to this weather, however. They're moving up and down the docks and carrying equipment back and forth. You can see that most of them are humans, but there are a surprising number of dark elves amongst them. A few of them that are helping load things into one of the warehouses nearby are singing a sea shanty that you're unfamiliar with in a language you've never heard. And you can see in front of you the only bit of color that you've managed to catch out of this abysmally gray setting. It stands out like a torch, but much too large. And it isn't until you've got your boat hoisted up onto the docks and you've stepped foot onto the wooden posts that you can see that it is in fact a tree. A sugar maple. Unseasonably still in its vibrant colors of yellow, like a match that's been lit and then stuck into the soil. Usually by this point of winter it would have lost its leaves, but some sort of magic keeps it in this color. Beside it, you can see the Candle Tree Inn. A few of these dark elves and some humans walk out, going separate ways to their jobs on the docks. The humans walking past, you catch the sickly scent that you'd smelled coming in strongly off. And you can see flies buzzing from them. And you see, just before they're putting a fisherman's hat on their head, that they're rather squat and short, about 5 feet. And most of the humans here are on the shorter end. Point where you might have thought they were halflings, but they're not. And several of them look a little sickly, like there might be something going on around. And as the sound of buzzing flies and the ambience of the swamp carries you towards the Candle Tree Inn. We will leave the session, and that is where we will pick up next week.
Alright.
Oh man, we are definitely in the fucking bayou.
Hell yeah.
I am so excited.
Oh, this is gonna be fun.